Hello chess lovers, I have a mind-blowing game for you played by Jan Timman. His opponent is Terry Fox and this is a game played in 1970. Terry Fox had white pieces and he started with d4, knight f6 by Jan Timman, c4, e6, knight c3, bishop b4, Jan Timman goes for Nimzo-Indian defense, a3, Saemisch variation. White is provoking black bishop to capture on c3 square, though white is getting doubled pawns on c file, but in return is establishing a strong center. We see bishop takes c3, b takes c3, c5, challenging white's center and also opening up the queen's path, e4, queen a5, attacking the pawn on c3, e5. Now comes the knight e4, intensifying the pressure on c3 square, bishop d2, knight c6 and knight f3. Well, actually placing the knight on e2 square and protecting the pawn would have been better, but instead we see knight f3, and after this move white is starting to face some problems. Black is now simply capturing on c3, queen c2, pinning the knight on c3 square, but now black is winning the pawn on d4 as well, also protecting the knight, a4, b6, bishop e2. Well, if a move like bishop d3, then knight b4 fork can be very unpleasant. That's why we see bishop e2, but after bishop a6, it turns out that white can't even castle kingside because the bishop will hang. That's why we see king f1, white's position is becoming more and more unbearable. Rook c8, g3, and now black is also capturing the pawn on e5. And after knight takes d4, a question arises: how is black going to defend this knight on c3 square? We have reached a critical position and now you can pause the video and try to find Jan Timman's next move. Ready? As you can see, the knight is pinned, but in this position, Jan Timman came up with a brilliant idea. He captured on e2 and sacrificed the queen on a5. By the way, playing rook takes c4 is also possible. If bishop takes c4, then knight takes c4. If bishop takes c3, then knight e3 double check, and then capture on c2. If bishop takes a5, then knight takes d4. Black has a piece and 3 pawns against the rook. Of course, black has a huge advantage, but still, white can prolong the game. That's why after knight takes d4, we see that crushing knight takes e2. White accepted the sacrifice, bishop takes a5, and the knight is also capturing on d4. Queen b2, rook takes c4. Already there can be some nasty discovered checks. That's why white king is moving on g2 square. But the light squares are weakened up and now black bishop is starting to chase white king. Bishop b7 check, king h3. Well, if king g1, then simply rook c2, and if queen b1, then of course this knight is untouchable. There can always be checks from f3 square, and if queen b1, then black can castle kingside and then bring the second rook, and this is just crushing. Let's go back. After bishop b7 check, we see king h3, knight d3. Black knights are simply chasing white queen, queen d2, knight f3. Again, the knight can't be captured because of this knight g5 checkmate. After knight f3 we see queen e3, but anyways, Jan Timman played knight g5 check and white resigned. If queen takes g5, then knight takes f2, and this is a checkmate. What a game. Actually, this final checkmate looks spectacular. If you enjoyed this brilliant attack, don't forget to give the thumbs up or subscribe to my channel. More games are coming. Good luck.